In this video, we're going to cover the topic of Bosis. A Bosis ledavar ha'aser. Let me explain what this is. It's a Muktzeh topic, and it will help you answer the questions on page 24 and 25 of your Halachot of Shabbos workbook. The idea, up until now, we have learned two types of Muktzeh. These are the main types of Muktzeh that people usually deal with. Is what's called Kli shemalachto le'isser. That means an object that it's a kli, it's a vessel, it has a use, it's set up for a use during the week, but it's not set up for a use during Shabbos. Why? Because it's meant for something that's usher to use, like a pen, like a phone. Now these things, because they are usable objects, just not on Shabbos, the level of muktzeh of them is less than something which is called a Muktzeh machmat gufo. Muktzeh machmat gufo is something that it's not an object to be used even during the week. It doesn't mean that you can't use it, but it means that it's not set up for a usage for anything like sand. Maybe not sand in a sandbox might be different, but sand like that you just see on the beach, nobody was planning to use it for anything. It can be used, but it wasn't set up to use for anything. So there, the muktzeh is very heavy, and you're not allowed to move it with your hands for anything except for danger, where the Chacham specifically told us that it's allowed. But muktzeh, a klisha malachto le'isser, is allowed to be moved for two major reasons we've learned up until now. That is, for its place. It might be you need the place that it physically is in, or it's somehow disturbing the place that you're in, and it being there is messing up the place. For example, the one I gave you earlier was like a cell phone with the alarm clock on, so it's making noise and it's messing up the ability to use that room. You could take that video, you could take that phone and move it to a place that it doesn't disturb. Okay. A Muktzeh machmat gufo, on the other hand, is only allowed to be moved for danger, and actually one more purpose we discussed is that if it's disgusting, let's say it's a dirty diaper, or it's a garbage that's left. Exactly, well said. So then you can move it, then you're allowed to move it. Fine. The one other thing now, what's a bosis? So a bosis is that anything that's meant to hold muktzeh, that it was left there on purpose by the owner. So he said two things just now. It was left there on purpose by the owner. The holder of the muktzeh, the thing that the muktzeh is left on, also becomes muktzeh. And it has the same halacha of muktzeh as the object that's left on it. So if the object that's on top of it, let's say you took a rack before Shabbos and you put it down on your tablecloth, then that tablecloth is not allowed to be moved on Shabbos. If you left a pen there on the table, it could be moved. The tablecloth has the same halacha as the pen. If you want to use the area of the table without the tablecloth there, you could pull off the tablecloth, because you're allowed to also say, if you're allowed to move the pen, then you're also allowed to move the tablecloth. Okay, now we did. Okay, so we did learn earlier also, just important note, is that even if it's not a bosis, you are allowed, if it's not a bosis, how could something be left on something and not a bosis? Let's say I come home and one of you guys out there, you decide to play a trick on me, and you run over to my house and you take tons of rocks and you put them all over every chair so nobody could sit down. And you say, it's muktzeh, you can't move it. So then it's not a bosis. Because why? Because you can't make my chair a bosis. You're not the owner. As we learned, only the owner could make it a bosis. But still, I'm not allowed to pick up the rack. So what could I do? The chair is not a bosis. Good, but I can't move the rack. So what I'm allowed to do is I'm allowed to move the chair. I could take the chair and lean it forward and allow the rack to fall. Then, because the chair itself doesn't become muktzeh. But if, let's say, I did it to the rest of my family, I put racks on all the chairs, then I'm not even allowed to move the chair. I'm not allowed to tilt the chair because the chair itself is muktzeh. So I think that is enough information to answer pages 24 and 25 of this very important topic.